Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Johanna and welcome to my cozy book space. So for today's video, we're going to be doing my March wrap up. I did not read as many books as I usually do in March, but let's talk about the ones that I did end up getting to. As usual, in my wrap ups, I will only be talking about the books that I didn't talk about in weekly vlogs or reading vlogs or read it or on Haulit vlogs because I put so much time and effort into those vlogs and I really want you guys to go watch them. If you guys want to see those specific reviews, you don't have to watch the entire vlog. Like, you can go to that specific book and see like my reactions, the b-roll, my review, etc. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. The first 5 books that I ended up reading in the month of March were books that I read in my weekly vlog. I will link it down below in the description box as well as up here in the cards if you guys want to go see that vlog. I had so much fun filming that vlog and it took me a minute to edit, but we finally got her there and I am so glad it's up on my channel, so definitely go check that out. I will go through these super quick, so this might be a quick little video, but anyways, the first book I ended up reading in the month of March was The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. This one was a very on and off. I almost DNF'd it, but I didn't. We have our hero named Leon and our heroine named Teffy. They actually do a flat share. Leon works nights and Teffy works mornings, so they never run into each other. This is a romance that they slowly and surely fall in love through notes, letters, texts, etc., through other kind of medias. Next book I ended up reading in that weekly vlog was Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. We have our heroine named Eve and our hero named Shep. This is actually a surprise pregnancy, a one-night stand trope romance book. This was very much a surprise for me. I ended up only picking it up because it became available on my Libby and I had heard about it from Emmy, from what Emmy reads here on BookTube. Third book in that vlog, we have The Intimacy Experiment by Rosie Danan. Rosie Danan actually had a new release come out in March and that's why I ended up picking up her backlist before deciding to pick up her newest release. And I had heard a lot about Rosie Danan through social media in the bookish community, and she is a very beloved author and I understand why now. This one was between our hero named Ethan and our heroine named Naomi. Naomi is a porn star and Ethan is a rabbi, so it is definitely a very much forbidden romance. Fourth book I ended up reading in that vlog was Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn Solomon. Rachel Lynn Solomon is actually a new author to me. We have our hero named Russell and we have our heroine named Ari, and Ari is a weather girl. She's a meteorologist and Russell is actually working in the same company workplace, but he is actually the announcer for the sports news, and they both come together to try and get their bosses who are divorced back together, and they fall in love in the process. And last book I ended up reading in the weekly vlog was Brutal Conquest by Lilith Vicent. This was definitely a mood read for sure. This was on no TBR of mine, but I did see that Mystic Box was coming out with, I believe, their marked book box, and I was trying to decide whether I wanted to skip this box or keep this box, and we find out the books chosen for this box early on. So I knew that Brutal Conquest was one of the books chosen for this box, and I decided to read it since it was on Kindle Unlimited, and I believe it was also on like Read and Listen, like a whisper sing thing between Audible and Kindle Unlimited. So that's how I ended up reading this book. I will say I had some thoughts about this book, and if you want to know if I skipped this box or kept this box, then definitely watch that weekly vlog. Now we can jump into the 3 books that I didn't end up reading in a vlog. We have Anathema by Carrie Lake. I do talk about this book in that weekly vlog, but I do soft DNF it, but I did end up finishing it in the month of March. So with this one, this is a dark fantasy romance. This is spooky to say the least. We have our hero Zavander and we have our heroine Mavis. So in the prologue, we get to see and understand what Zavander is cursed with and what his curse is. Moving forward, we are in Mavis' POV, and Mavis was actually left at this archway, so her small town, and then there's an archway into like these woods, and then in the woods is another archway into the Fey world. I'm going to say Fey world because honestly at this very moment in time I can't remember if it is Fey or if they are completely different creatures, okay, but I'm like 99% positive they're Fey, but don't quote me on that. She was left at the archway in this small town and she is taken in by this family. Her stepfather, if you will, took care of her, and she has a really close relationship with her stepsister, but she has a really bad relationship with her stepmother. Her stepfather ends up passing away, and now we have the stepmother trying to sell off Lucy, which is Mavis' sister, and Mavis to potential men to kind of get them out of the house. Lucy is actually having this secret relationship with her uncle. They get found out, and in this town, it's kind of like a cult, you guys. It's not like a fun little town, if you will. No, like this has all of the atmosphere. Like if you want horror, spooky, you want to be scared, this is the book for you. One thing about Carrie Lake, she will make you feel things, okay? I don't recommend reading this at night because that's what I did, and I was scared for like 99% of this book. And there are just so many scary scenes in here that I am a scaredy cat, so take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, they get found out, and so the town shuns Lucy and they send her out into the woods. And mind you, once you go into the woods, nobody ever returns. Like you die because there's a monster in there. Maveth is actually being like not necessarily sold, but like kind of married off to this other man who is literally a monster. He is literally the worst of the worst. And she ends up finding this out, and she was like, I'm not staying here with this man. I'm gonna go and run into the woods with my sister Lucy, and we can tough it out together. So this is what actually ends up happening. And of course, they shun the uncle as well. I don't know if he thought he wasn't finna, but he did get shunned. He gets into the woods as well. So now they're all three of them running away from this monster. This monster, think like shadowy figure, kind of eats you and then shapeshifts into the person that thing just ate. Maveth actually ends up experiencing the monster eat her uncle, and now she's running into the woods looking for Lucy because they got separated in these woods. Her potential husband, like the bad guy, ends up also getting eaten by this monster. So now this man looks like her betrothed. Then she runs into Lucy. They find each other and they are running through these woods. They don't want to die. They come to the archway that is between the woods and the Fey world. They're like, we gotta take our chances. We gotta cross through this. Maveth ends up crossing. Once she crosses this, she turns back around and she's expecting her sister to be right behind her. And we just kind of see through Maveth's POV that Lucy is just stuck there. She's like kind of hesitant to go through the barrier. And I'm not sure whether that barrier was there and she didn't cross because she was scared or because she literally couldn't because her blood is not Fey blood. Maveth just kind of sees this monster coming up behind Lucy. Like, just imagine that. Girl. This is how we have Maveth entering this Fey world. She ends up getting captured by the guards at this portal. Now Maveth is trying to kind of learn this other world, become a badass heroine to go back and save her sister because she truly doesn't know if her sister is still alive or dead. And then we have Zavander, who it just does not want Maveth around. He doesn't want her around. He thinks that she is just a nuisance. And we do have combat scenes in here where they train together. We do have a banter that is like bickering back and forth. Definitely there is tension between the two of them because they do find each other attractive. And we do have a scarred hero. Zavander is scarred. He wears like a mask from his nose down. He is just a fine, tall, dark, handsome man, okay? And I really love Maveth. She definitely is a little bit naive in the beginning. She's innocent in the way that she scares easily, but you have to put yourself in her shoes and realize that this is a brand new world for her. Like, this is new for her. So you would definitely get to grow with her and learn with her and see her develop into more of a badass character, if you will. This is a duology, so in this first book we do not get an HEA. So many things happen in this book, but I found it entertaining. I was definitely not invested in the plot as much as I was invested in the romance, and I don't know if that is because I am a romance reader at heart, but I will say this did take me a really long time to read. I don't know if it was because it is a long book. I did read this as an ebook, so either way it still took me so long to like get through, but I definitely want to read the second book, and I'm hoping to maybe listen to the second book, especially because I do think that these are like chunky books, and I think that my enjoyment for this duology would be a lot greater if I listened to the audio books. So with that being said, I did give this book 3.5 stars, but I did round it up to a 4 just for the simple fact that I loved the romance and just the writing and the atmosphere was crazy insane, and you just gotta give props to that. Then I ended up also reading A Rebel Without Claws by Juliet Cross. This is actually another book that I kind of went into in my weekly vlog but didn't end up reading in that vlog. This was kind of tough for me. I was very much disappointed with this book, but we have our hero Ronan and our heroine Celine. So Celine is actually the girl of the triplets that the characters in the first book of the Say a Spell series had. This is the second generation series. Celine is actually a witch, of course, and she is dealing with trauma. She has a lot of trust issues, especially when it comes to men because of her past relationship and how that turned out. And then we have Ronan, who is a werewolf. He has a dormant werewolf, but once he meets Celine, his werewolf kind of becomes more of a prominent presence for him. He was actually living in Texas, and then his aunt shipped him out to New Orleans to live with his uncle. And his uncle owns a body shop, and this is how both of our characters end up meeting. The minute that Ronan sees Celine, he realizes that they are fated mates, and so he definitely goes on a mission to pursue her and to build a relationship with her. And Celine is definitely more on the skittish side. She doesn't kind of want to step into any relationships, especially with a werewolf, because she knows all of the cons that come with that, especially because her father is a werewolf, and she knows that even if the relationship developed into something more, then Ronan would have to meet her dad, and it would just be like head on head. Yeah, so that's basically the premise. And then a little bit more of the plot, we have Ronan trying to create his own fight club, if you will. As for this book, I gave it 3 stars just because I enjoyed this book, but I was definitely disappointed in it. I think that it was too insta-lust and too insta-love for me, and I do love the fated mates trope. Like, it is one of my favorite tropes. So I don't think that was the issue for this. I think the way that it was handled and written was my issue, just because we went from A to C and we lost the B. Okay, we skipped too many steps, and at one point we had Celine kind of reluctant to be with Ronan, and then next thing you know, they're in the shed and he's going down on her. So like, it was very disjointed for me. It felt very abrupt. There was no smoothness to the relationship, and that definitely jarred me and definitely deterred my enjoyment of this book. I did end up picking this book up because I wanted to read something light and fluffy while also reading Anathema, but I'm excited to continue in the series because we did see other couples forming in this first book. Then last but not least, I ended up reading Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. This one was kind of like a book that I had been putting off ever since it dropped in February, just because since that book came out, I had seen very much mixed reviews. Like, people were up in arms about this book, and I didn't know why, but I was kind of scared to pick it up because when I first heard about this book, I was like, oh, immediately I'm going to read this. It's an Ali Hazelwood book. Like, why wouldn't I most of the time enjoy all of her books. So with this one, I definitely put it off, and I ended up reading it like literally in the last couple of days of March because I was just like, fuck it, I need an audiobook, so let me just read this. Safe to say, I loved this book. I gave it 4.5 stars, and I believe I'm rounding it up to a 5-star. I can't remember if I rounded it up to a 5-star, if I rounded it down to a 4-star. Either way, I loved this. Definitely not like a solid 5-star. I don't remember why it's not though, so maybe I just gotta think about that a little bit more. Maybe I didn't really like the third act breakup, but also like, you could have seen that third act breakup coming from a mile away. So at the same time, like, it is what it is. We have our hero named Lucas, and then we have our heroine named Scarlett. So Scarlett is a diver. She actually does this dive. She messes it up. I think she injures herself. It definitely created a mental block for her. She hasn't been able to do this specific dive ever since. She's in college. Of course, she's also a woman in STEM. Of course, every woman in an Ali Hazelwood book is a woman in STEM, which I'm not complaining about. I absolutely love. I just loved seeing that world, that life, and what all of that entails. Like, it seems like a lot, and I bet it is a lot. Okay, and I really appreciated seeing that aspect about it. Scarlett actually ends up becoming friends with this other diver, and this other diver, this girl, she's actually in a relationship with Lucas. She is telling Scarlett that their relationship is good, is perfect, except in the bedroom. In the bedroom, they do not match. So then they end up breaking up because also this other girl wants to explore other relationships and have a little bit more chemistry with other men. At this party, this girl, who is Scarlett's friend, ends up getting drunk and suggesting that Lucas and Scarlett get together because Scarlett had confided in this girl about BDSM and that she was into that, and then the girl confided into Scarlett that Lucas was in BDSM, that girl was not. I can't remember her name, y'all. I know this is kind of confusing, but anyways, that's the point. So that's why she ends up suggesting that Lucas go for Scarlett, and this kind of starts their relationship, if you will. They're kind of friends with benefits, and it's all based around BDSM. So this book is definitely on the spicier side, especially for Ali Hazelwood, but I will say that she did it so well, because not only is this spice, but I think that this is BDSM slash spice done in a fantastic way. And mind you, this is like obviously all of my personal opinion. I'm not, qualified to say if this was done correctly, but I enjoyed that aspect of this book 100%. I think that this book is spicy, but spicy with a purpose. I think that the relationship is definitely based off sexual chemistry, but during all those sex scenes and during all this time that they spend together, their relationship ends up blossoming and growing, and they end up becoming emotionally invested with each other. And BDSM is such a trust thing, so they obviously have to trust each other going both ways. I thought the relationship was absolutely beautiful. Lucas is actually a swimmer. He has won a lot of Olympic gold medals. Like, he is one of the top swimmers, and he definitely has his own trauma, especially with his mother, and he does have a very supportive family, and I loved how that family easily took in Scarlett as well. But Lucas is definitely a very patient man, okay? He's a very patient man, but he is also a horny man, okay? I love that man. He is a man. He is a man that I would like with me in the real world. Okay, I wish he was real. He definitely helps Scarlett with her mental block. I think a lot of people's issue was that Scarlett was never able to get over this block through therapy, because she is going through therapy. She talks about that a lot, and people were upset that she couldn't fix this block through therapy. She fixed it because of a man. But really, like, who are we to say what people need to get over their trauma? So I didn't find that to be an issue, especially because I really enjoyed the way that Lucas talked to Scarlett, and he kind of spoke to her in a way that she would understand and kind of relate to, and how to put two and two together, if that makes sense. So I really loved that he helped her with that, and I just loved the relationship. I thought it was so good. He knew that Scarlett was definitely scared of kind of commitment and also hurting her friendship with this other girl. Yes, the main plot is the other girl, and yes, we know that from the beginning, and yes, the third act breakup is this other girl. But I think I liked how it was resolved. I like how the friend ended up coming back and, apologizing to Scarlett, and how Scarlett and Lucas ended up having an HEA. So honestly, I was so here for the romance that I didn't even care about the friend. Like, I knew it was gonna happen, but I didn't care enough to deter my enjoyment of this book and this romance, okay? And I loved seeing little aspects of like other characters from other books in this book, and I loved all the swimming training and like practice, all of that. Like, I just overall enjoyed this book so much, and I haven't read a book like this in a really long time, so I definitely recommend. I know there's a lot of negative reviews about this book, but I am one of those people who love this book, and I think that you will love this book if you and I have similar tastes. I feel like I can go on and on about this book. I feel like I'm missing things I want to say about this book, and I will probably remember after I shut off this camera. But what more can I say than I love this book? 4.5 stars. Those are all of the books that I ended up reading in the month of March. I know we're on April, but let me know what your favorite book in the month of March was, and if you don't want to comment any of that, then go ahead and leave me a water emoji down below in the comments. It can be any water emoji that you want to leave for Deep End. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.